Greetings, everyone. Peace and blessings be upon you. Thank you for joining me again. Today I want to talk about this idea in different scriptures that one day a man appointed by God will be present on the earth. He will have companions with him, and he will essentially go up against the evil ones and the tyrants who rule the planet at that time, and he dethrones them, and in the place of them he appoints himself and God's chosen people to rule over the earth. What I'm going to provide is paraphrases of different scripture. I will provide the details of the scriptures mentioned in the description of this video, so that those of you who want to actually read the different scriptures for yourself, you can go in and see for yourself the different scriptures and the different translations. So we'll start with Islam. In the Quran, chapter 24, verse 55, God promises that those who believe and act righteously will inherit the earth as it was inherited by past righteous communities. God will grant them a life of security, remove their fears, and establish their chosen faith fully. The verse emphasizes that justice and divine order will ultimately prevail through the believers. In the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, we preach that we are living in a time where God's people are all here. They've all been incarnated in this day and age, and that the Mahdi and the Mahdis are also here, and they act as our leader to guide us into this spiritual battle. In a hadith on the Mahdi, in Sunan Abu Dawud 4286, a man from the Prophet Muhammad's family will appear, bearing his name. He will rise at a time when the earth is filled with tyranny and injustice. He will be accompanied by devoted followers who help him implement God's law, remove oppression, and establish fairness. The world will be transformed, guided by divine justice. The Ahmadi religion of peace and light is the only religion who claims that Abdullah Hashim and those from him are of the family of the Prophet Muhammad. No one else is making this claim in any real way. He has followers with him who are willing to do everything they can to implement God's law, with the goal being to rid the earth of tyranny. In a hadith on Jesus, in Sahih Muslim 155a, Jesus, son of Mary, will descend at the end of time, coming as a righteous judge. He will destroy symbols of false belief, eliminate injustice, and guide humanity towards God's law. He will work alongside believers, bringing peace, removing oppression, and ensuring that justice reigns on earth. In the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, we claim to have Jesus with us. And so, he has returned as a companion of the Mahdi, and he will help guide humanity towards God's law. In Christianity, in the Bible, in Revelation chapter 19, verses 11 through 16, John envisions Christ returning as a divine warrior on a white horse, eyes blazing with justice, crowned with authority. He is accompanied by armies of heaven, ready to execute judgment on the wicked. The imagery portrays Christ as a righteous leader, destroying evil, accompanied by those who have faithfully followed God. And this is mirroring the ideas in the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, that Christ has returned as a companion of the Mahdi. In Matthew chapter 24, verses 30 through 31, Jesus teaches that at the end times, the Son of Man will appear in glory. Angels will gather the chosen ones from all directions, uniting them with the righteous leader. This passage emphasizes that the divine justice comes with the support of God's faithful servants. In our religion, we believe that the angels are with us. We believe that some of our followers are the angels incarnate, and that we are gathering the chosen ones from all the peoples of the earth and uniting them under our righteous leaders. In Daniel chapter 7, verse 27, God gives the kingdom to the saints of the Most High. These righteous individuals will possess authority over the earth, establishing God's reign and removing evil influences. So here we have Daniel speaking of a rise of saints who will possess authority over the earth and establish the rulership of God, removing evil influences. Is that not the mission of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light? In Judaism, in Isaiah chapter 11, verses 4 through 9, a future righteous king will judge with fairness for the poor and oppressed. Violence and cruelty will end. Natural predators will live in harmony with prey, symbolizing universal peace. God's Spirit will guide this king, bringing moral restoration to the earth. In the Talmud Sanhedrin, chapter 98, in the end times the Messiah will rise amid turmoil. He will lead the people, establish justice, and remove wickedness. Those who are righteous will join him, forming a community devoted to God's law. So here we have, it says that the Messiah will arise during turmoil. How much more turmoil does one need in the present day? And who else, this is my legitimate question to you, the listener, who else besides the Ahmadi religion of peace and light is claiming that they will lead the righteous to establish justice, unite humanity, and remove wickedness? Truly, all the righteous people of the earth from all the different religions are all joining in this religion. Point to me which group more accurately depicts these narrations. In Hinduism, in the Bhagavata Purana, chapter 12, verse 2, when the world is dominated by corruption, greed, and chaos, the 10th and final avatar of Vishnu will appear, riding a divine horse. He will destroy the unrighteous and restore cosmic order. He is accompanied by loyal warriors and guides who uphold righteousness. Truly, the world today is dominated by corruption, greed, and chaos. Who else? Genuinely, I'm asking, who else better fits the description of those who will unite under a righteous leader, those loyal warriors and guides who will uphold righteousness? Who else is calling towards the unification of all religions and claiming to have with them the reincarnation of the prophets and messengers? In the Vishnu Purana, the role of the final avatar of Vishnu is not a solitary role. He acts as the leader of divine forces. Together they cleanse the earth, ending an era of darkness and establishing an age of virtue, peace, and spiritual law. How could it possibly, how could this apply to anyone else? The countries that are of democracy, they only speak for their own countries. They don't speak for all of mankind. They have their borders. The other religions, they only speak for themselves. The different religions, they say, we are right and you are wrong. They're all fighting each other and killing each other. the Ahmadi religion of peace and light is the only group that says no to democracy. For the majority of humanity will always lead you astray. And we're the only people who are legitimately calling towards all the world religions unifying as one. We're saying there's no need to fight each other. Any reasons you have for fighting each other, they are corruptions of the message of your prophets. The prophets, they all worship the same God. And there are other spiritual movements who say similar things. They say, oh, all the religions are the same religion. But none of those other spiritual groups are claiming that they have with them the righteous and the appointed by God. How is any one group going to make such a huge impact on the planet unless they believe in themselves of who they are and believe in their own divine authority? I say, peace and justice will never be seen on the earth so long as a group like the Ahmadi religion of peace and light doesn't step up to the plate and demand the authority that they were sent here with. In Buddhism, in the Cakkavatti Sutta, when moral decay and greed dominate the world, Maitreya Buddha will appear. He will teach the Dharma in its pure form, correcting societal wrongs, reducing violence, and guiding humanity towards enlightenment. He will be followed by devoted disciples who help spread compassion and wisdom. I ask you again, who else on the face of the earth fits such a description? Who is making the claims that they will do anything like it is said within this scripture? Correcting societal wrongs. Is it not that the religions of the world fighting each other is wrong? Are we not preaching to the world that all the world's religions need to unite once and for all before it's too late? In something called the Maitreya Prophecies, the future Buddha's arrival restores humanity to a state of harmony. Those aligned with virtue will follow him, forming a community dedicated to peace, right action, and spiritual awakening. Lastly, we have the Book of Enoch. So, in Enoch 1 and 62, Enoch describes a pre-existent Holy One who comes with thousands of righteous beings. Together they judge and punish the wicked, restoring divine order. This figure acts with God's authority to cleanse the world of injustice. All of these different scriptures speaking of a man of God and his righteous followers stepping in and making right what humanity has made wrong. In Enoch 48, the chosen one, supported by the elect, his followers, brings justice to the oppressed. Evil is removed, and the righteous inherit the earth. The narrative emphasizes collaboration between the holy leader and those devoted to righteousness. Seemingly all the world religions have prophesied a time where evil and wickedness is overflowing on the earth. And right when things seem to be at their most dark, God's chosen and the followers of God's chosen rise. They call towards peace. They call towards unification. They call towards the destruction of corruption. I swear to you, I am not aware of any other group who fits such a description. The Christians, they fight with each other over their interpretations of the Bible, and they say that everyone else in humanity is doomed to hellfire for not accepting Jesus. The Jews, they don't accept Jesus, and quite frankly, they don't accept any of the other world religions either. Islam has gone so far astray from true Islam that it looks nothing like what it was meant to be like. They're at war with the Christians, and they're at war with the Jews, and they're at war with the Hindus. The Hindus, they're at war with the Muslims. The Hindus have, their countries have been taken over by democracy and have been corrupted. They're not calling towards the unification of all religions. The Buddhists, even, as pure as the Buddhists of today seem, they don't seem to have any chance of removing the wicked from power. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the Buddhists are guilty of such things as these giant statues and these big temples where there are poor people in the land, and yet they are purchasing these giant Buddha statues to be worshipped. They have overlooked, and they are not willing to say openly, that all of the world religions, their prophets were sent by God. Only the Ahmadi religion of peace and light is calling towards these prophecies being fulfilled. And I ask you, if you're a person of faith, if you believe in any of these scriptures forementioned, if it is not the Ahmadi religion of peace and light who will fulfill this prophecy, then who else is going to? Nobody else is making such claims. Nobody. I want to guide you listeners to look deeply into the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, and also look deeply into all of the other religions and all of the other organizations, and ask yourself, if we are living in the times where evil is overflowing on the earth, and if there is to be righteous ones who are able to free humanity from this state of ignorance, make that decision for yourself. And if you're a person who believes in God, ask God yourself, who among all the groups, who among all the different tribes of the earth and organizations could possibly be the ones to release humanity from their chains of ignorance? From what I have seen, I believe the only people who can possibly seek to fulfill such a prophecy are the people who have faith that they are making such prophecy into reality. And that is the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, the returned souls of all the prophets and messengers. We are the ones. I thank you so much for listening. Like I said, the different scripture that I mentioned will be in the comment section, so you can take a look for yourself. Peace and blessings be upon you all. I love you very much. And until next time, goodbye.